Nim, you remember you can do like this
Right.
to adjust. Also you can do like this.
Very flexible.
Yeah. and about this, you know,
Don't.
shake. Yeah.
I'll try not to.
Can't work out how I flow so freely, puffing that word. I'm so cheap. Blowing up the marijuana, right? What about him? Boy, the chap is a nana. Give a fuck about it. Deal's gonna grab me a lot. If you loved me. So much. Why did you cause me so much pain? Love.
Is this is this live?
Yes.
I don't have to switch it on?
Yeah.
Okay. I was a doctor in Perth, Australia, for 53 years, and I was particularly interested in the people who suffered the most and got the worst treatment. I thought I might be able to do something smart and help them. Boy from the bush, trying to make good. What I found was that the 4 things that people needed most to have a good life were good mental health, enough good relationships, no bad close relationships, and freedom from addictions. The people who suffered the most were people with bad mental health, not enough or not any good relationships, bad close relationships, and addictions. What most affects our whole life are our feeling or emotional habits. Happy feeling habits cause good mental health and good relationships, and bad mental health and relationships and addictions are mainly caused by unhappy feelings. And I came to the conclusion that happy feelings and unhappy feelings were habits. Some people had the habit of feeling angry or of worrying or feeling depressed, and some people had the habit of most of the time being cheerful, most of the time being happy. And that was what most affected people's lives, their feeling habits. If their feeling habits were mostly happy, they then had good mental health, they had good relationships, they had no bad close relationships, and they didn't have addictions. And they could get what they wanted. They were capable. People who had a lot of unhappy feelings had poor mental health, not enough good relationships, too many bad relationships, and often addictions. And they couldn't get what they needed for themselves. And what I found in the end was that it's not too hard to permanently break unhappy feeling habits and to make permanent happy feeling habits. If you just suppress unhappy feelings, they keep flaring up and causing relapses. So break them. Break the bad mental habits. And make good mental habits. So how do you break bad feeling habits? Firstly, you imagine how you want to be instead of how you are. Exactly how you want to be and what you're going to do when you're like that. And write those things down somewhere where you see it pretty often, and you can change it as you get clearer and clearer and clearer. And then every time you get the urge to do the bad habit, you delay that as long as possible. That's best done with special powder medicine that you drop on your tongue and suck, don't swallow. Swallowed tablets and capsules take half an hour to an hour to start to work, because they have to go right down your gut and by an indirect pathway into your general circulation. So it's half an hour to an hour before they start to work, and they don't work fully till for 1 to 2 hours. But medicine, powder medicine you drop on your tongue and suck, don't swallow, gets into your bloodstream in 5 minutes and starts working, and peaks in its benefits in 10 to 15 minutes. So that's fast enough to block urges that you want to delay. And you also make bad habits as inconvenient and difficult and unpleasant as possible. Don't have whatever you need right next to you, near your television or your desk. Have it out the back somewhere where you have to go out and get the stuff to do the habit. And soon, by delaying, or when you delay a habit, you weaken it. The message that drives a habit or an action is either an electrical message that runs along nerves, or it's a chemical message that flows in your blood or runs along a line of cells. And if you can slow that message down, you weaken it. And with the right powder medicine on your tongue, you can slow it down quite a lot, and that allows your natural chemistry to become more normal, and the combination of the weaker bad habit message and this more normal chemistry further weakens the habit, until sometimes you can miss doing it. And when you start to miss doing it, it weakens the electrical and chemical flows that cause the habit even more, and then eventually you can quit the habit. And how do you make happy new habits? Repetition, doing things over and over and over, is what makes them into a habit. So get very sure what the habit is that you want to do, how you want to be instead of how you are, and get a clear picture of what that's like and what you're going to, the steps you're going to take, and then just do it over and over and over again. And make it easy and convenient and enjoyable. Have whatever you need right close to you, where you can just grab it. And you can make it enjoyable by having a taste that you love, and dropping that on your tongue every time you start to do the new habit, and that will make it stronger and stronger and stronger. The more easy, convenient, and enjoyable it is, the more you'll do it, the more you do it, the sooner it becomes a habit. So you can make happy feelings into a habit. And one of the most powerful things you can do is smile. We know that when we feel happy, we smile, but science has now proven that when you smile, that causes more happy chemistry to be released. So smile as often as you can. I think smiling is one of the most important happy things anyone can do. Don't smile when you're angry. When you're angry, something needs to be fixed. Fix it and then smile. So where do we get our emotional habits? Our emotional habits start after birth. I don't know if you get emotional habits while you're in your mother's uterus, but as soon as you're born, when you're born, you're very helpless. Your heart beats, you breathe, you can cry, you can go to sleep, and that's about it. And whenever you need anything, you can't get it yourself, you just cry, and your caregiver finds what needs to be done and fixes it. And if you're lucky, your caregiver is right there and does what you need correctly and quickly, and you feel good, and you go back to sleep again in the first few days of your life. By your sixth day, you can smell when she's there, and when you smell her there, if she's experienced and capable, and knows what you need when you cry, when you can smell her, you feel happy. But nobody has a perfect mother, and nobody has a perfect father or a perfect family or a perfect community. So always, sometimes, there are some delays or some problems, especially if your caregiver is inexperienced, hasn't had anything to do with babies, and is not quite sure what you need when you cry. Or if she's too busy, she's got 3 babies, or she has to go to work as well as and look after you when she comes back from work, or she's unsupported. Mothers or caregivers support babies, but mothers and caregivers need support, the support of the father, the support of their mother and their family. And some mothers just don't have any support. Or if she's sick. Some women get depressed when they have a baby. All the things that go on in their body disturb their chemistry, and they can be sick or they can be depressed, and then they don't respond very quickly to your cries. And if that happens, sometimes you get anxious. You're crying and you're hungry, or you're wet, or you're cold, or too hot, or there's too much noise, or too bright light, or something, and nothing happens. And you stay in distress for quite a long time. Some mothers are sometimes drunk or drugged, and they respond very slowly. And sometimes if that happens in the night and you cry too much in the night, other people get hostile. They're trying to sleep and you're crying and keeping everyone awake. And of course, occasionally babies suffer violence, even death. So you start to develop unhappy feelings, anxiety, worry, loneliness, sadness, irritability or anger. And if you get irritable and angry and cry loudly, your caregiver may get antagonistic. And what normally happens is when you're about a month or two, when your caregiver is doing things for you, and she often hums or sings and talks to you, even though of course you don't understand words, and she smiles at you, and then suddenly at a month or two you smile back at her. She smiles at you, you smile back at her, she loves that, you love that, and you're friends. But of course that doesn't happen with some babies, and there's not enough smiling and there's too much crying. So that's where unhappy feeling habits can start. And they are, and then as you go along, when you're 1 or then 2, then 3, then 5, then 8, other things happen. No perfect mothers, no perfect fathers, no perfect families, no perfect situations, and so things may happen. But if you have had mostly good feelings and good feeling habits, you'll get through that okay. But if you've had a lot of unhappy early feeling habits, then problems along the way make that all worse. And so unhappy feeling or emotional habits become a part of you. And in that first year, you also develop your relationship habits. So the two most important things in your whole life are your emotional feeling habits and your relationship habits. And if there's a lot of smiling and prompt, careful attention, your relationship with your caregiver or your mother is happy, and you relate to other people happily. Recently in the supermarket, I saw a lady with her baby strapped on the front of her chest, and I said to the mother, "Can I smile at your baby?" And she said yes. So I smiled at the baby, and the baby, who was 9 months old, gave one of the most beautiful smiles I've ever seen. and obviously that mother knew what to do and did it, and the baby had a lovely reaction to me, a complete stranger, and that was part of her relationship habits. But other babies who've had problems with their mother can react badly to strangers. If I'd smiled at them, they might have cried or looked away or not related well to me. So it's so important, and those two most important things, your emotional or feeling habits and your relationship habits, start in the first year of your life. But they affect your life more than anything else. But as we pointed out, you can break unhappy emotional habits and relationship habits, and you can make happy emotional habits and happy relationship habits. And that's what you should do. Don't just suppress unhappiness, break the habit by the steps that we mentioned. So habits are almost 2/3 of our life, including sleep, which is a habit. They're almost 2/3 of our life. And so one of the most important things that you can do to have a good life is to learn to break bad habits or unhappy habits and make happy habits. What I've just explained, and perhaps not explained it that clearly, is very carefully explained in our website, which is smilefixit.com. smilefixit.com. Habits, very important. They're things that we do almost automatically, almost unconsciously, but they're very important. Most important of all, our feeling habits, emotional feeling habits, and our relationship habits. So as a doctor for 53 years, I saw two very great problems that needed much better ways to deal with them. One was obesity, which goes with diabetes, blocked arteries, heart attacks, strokes, dead toes, and the other was poor mental health and addiction. The obesity problem is very interesting and very important. Massive epidemics of obesity and diabetes and blocked artery problems, especially in the most advanced economies like the US, but increasing in Australia. And a Chinese friend of mine who's a lecturer in a university in Shanghai told me that it's starting to happen in China as well. Basically what happened was that in history, what killed most people before before it was normal time for them to die, what killed most people were infections, physical injuries, childbirth complications, and starvation due to famines. And 300 or 400 years ago, sugar was a rare luxury, expensive, and only the rich could afford it. And then they started to learn how to mass produce sugar. So 300 or 400 years ago they started to mass produce sugar, and sugar became very plentiful and cheap, and it saved millions of people from starving in famines. And it was a great help to a lot of poor people because sugar had a lot of calories in it. It didn't have any fiber in it, which is a problem, and it didn't have much nutritional value, which is a problem, but it could keep you going through a famine, or if you were poor, through a period when you had no money or very little money, it could keep you going. But then what happened is that it became a gold mine, sugar became a gold mine for the food industries, for the food manufacturers, because it's cheap, people love the taste, it's easy to use and transport and store. So it became a gold mine for the food industries, and they put sugar in everything, foods and drinks and confectionery and so on. But at the same time, people were burning less and less calories because more and more of us were sitting at a desk, not working with picks and shovels and hammers and stuff. So with much less physical work, we were burning less of the calories in the sugar. And also, we were walking less. There were cars and buses and trains everywhere, and people just didn't walk as much as they used to walk. So that burned less calories. So the combination of more sugar and more calories and less burning of calories meant more sugar calories were turned into fat. And high sugar levels in the blood resulted in diabetes, and the fat and the sugar narrowed and blocked arteries, and that caused heart attacks and strokes and poor circulation in the feet with gangrenous toes and feet. And my solution for that, which I'm working on at the present time, but it'll be a while before I come out, is to provide people with low-calorie taste. It's about taste. Sugar is such a lovely taste. But there are lots of other lovely tastes, but they're more expensive. But I'm getting 5,000 pocket dispensers made in China, and we're going to put lovely tasting fruit powders and other harmless powders in there, so that whenever someone feels like some confectionery, instead of having lollies or chocolate, they can just have some powder, some lovely tasting powder. And instead of buying biscuits and cakes and sugary drinks, they can just take some powder. It's in their pocket all the time. They can whiz it out and do it anywhere. Much more convenient, much lower cost, and hopefully will reduce obesity and diabetes and blocked artery problems. With the mental health epidemic and the addiction epidemic, I started to work in that field in 1997. Of course, we'd had tobacco, which killed 7 million people a year forever. It was rationed during the Second World War, but after the Second World War, almost everybody was a smoker. Well, all the men anyway, and more women. And we had alcohol, which kills 3 million people a year, and for every one person that tobacco or alcohol kills, there's 10 or 20 that makes it damages their health and makes them miserable. So what was the problem there? One problem was the tools. Everything is done with tools now. Once upon a time, a lot of things were just done with hands. When I was a boy, in the kitchen there were two tools. One was a wood stove. You had to light every morning and keep on putting bits of wood on to keep it burning. The other was a big tin dish that you washed the dishes in. Now we've got electricity, gas, electrical and or gas ovens and stoves. We've got refrigerators. We've got running water, which we didn't have back then. We've got also and grinders and mixers and all sorts of things. That's just in the kitchen, but everywhere there's tools. In the garage, in the garden, but then in offices. I would just hate to be without my laptop and my iPhone. Such wonderful tools. And in factories now they have incredible tools for making everything, cars. The latest, of course, is AI, which I don't understand very well, but it looks like it's going to be revolutionary, and it's going to be very hard for us to know what's real and what's made up. But what are the tools in mental health? There are two tools, and they've both got very big weaknesses. The first tool is talk therapy, psychotherapy, counselling. And what are its weaknesses? First of all, to be a good therapist, it takes years of training. It takes someone 10 years to become a psychiatrist. And a lot of psychologists have got a 6-year PhD. So they're expensive and they're rare. And a lot of people get no talk therapy, and as far as I can see, almost no one gets enough talk therapy. And the other weakness of talk therapy is it's so slow. It takes so much time to explain things to people. People with mental health issues need to know what their problems are, to understand the causes, to understand the nature of them, and therefore to understand how to fix them. And that's very slow. So talk therapy is a great tool, but it's got two terrible weaknesses. And the other tool in mental health is medicines. And medicine's got a terrible weakness. The weakness is the conflict of interest between the people who take medicine and the businesses who make medicine. The people who take medicine want the medicine to work quickly, to be easy to get, to not cost too much, to make them better so quickly that they don't need to take it for very long and they can stop taking it. But the people who make medicine want people to take as much medicine as possible for as long as possible, and to not get well and be able to do without medicine. So that's a great weakness. They make many medicines addictive to achieve that. So, for instance, the commonest mental health problem is anxiety and insomnia, worry and inability to sleep. And nearly all the medicines for that are addictive. When I first started, it was barbiturates, and there were many different barbiturates, and they were all addictive. And then in the 1960s, we got Valium and Seropax and Mogadon and things like that. And then we got Xanax. And Xanax is such a wonderful reliever of anxiety when you first take it. You take it for a month and you can't stop taking it. It's addictive. A few years ago, I looked up the 100 most prescribed medicines in America. Every year in America they put out the 100 most prescribed medicines. And at that time, Xanax was the most prescribed medicine for 3 years in a row. And that was because so many people get addicted to it. And so they make medicines addictive. Oh, and ADD, ADHD, the three main medicines for that are addictive. All three of them are addictive. That's Ritalin, desvenlafaxine, and Adderall. I've got that wrong. Adderall, Ritalin, and dexamphetamine. So they're so dangerous that the authorities thought they'll make them safe by making it illegal for doctors to prescribe those 3 ADD medicines unless they're pediatricians or psychiatrists. So you can't, if you've got ADD, you can't go to your local family doctor who knows you and your family and you know them and get diagnosed and treated. You have to see a pediatrician or a psychiatrist, and they've got waiting lists and they're expensive, and they're not in your suburb, they're in the city somewhere. Your local doctor, certainly when I was doing that, in that situation, doesn't want to handle it. There's too much red tape. So if you aren't able to prescribe the treatment, you don't understand the disorder. So 1 year I treated 700 heroin addicts, and a third of them, about 230, had ADD, ADHD, and they were having no treatment for it, and most of them didn't know they had it because the local doctors didn't really understand ADD because they couldn't prescribe for it, so they didn't know about it. And the other regulation was that you couldn't prescribe dexamphetamine, Ritalin or Adderall for addicts. That was illegal. So one of the 3 main features of ADD is impulsiveness. ADD people are very impulsive. So if you're not from a very well-to-do family and your mum and your dad both work and you're a bit on your own, and you've got this problem, you don't know what it is, but you're a sitting duck for a drug dealer to get you on speed or ice, crystal meth. So what is the solution there? The problem was the tools are so weak, and various regulations made it so difficult that there were never going to be enough doctors and psychologists and therapists and so on to help all the people that needed help. And the solution was to have much better tools that were so good that people could do self-help. So over a 25-year period I developed a package of 7 mental health and addiction tools. One is videos. You can watch a video as many times as you want until you get it. With a consultation, if it's explained to you but you don't get it, and by the time you walk out you're a bit confused, it's a long time. It's maybe 3 or 4 weeks before you have another consultation you can ask the question, but with a video you can watch it 3 times straight away, and the next day again, and the next day. So videos, particularly 1-minute videos on particular subjects, are much the fastest, easiest, best way to for troubled people to understand their problems. But of course, my first video was 10 minutes, and 10,000. It got 10,000 views in 9 months, and I thought I knew what I was doing, and I made 31 7 to 12 minute videos, but people didn't watch those. I spent a lot of time getting them right, but people don't watch long videos. Now they just watch 1 minute TikTok type view. So to cover everything, I've got over 100 1 minute videos, which you can see at smilefixit.com. Smilefixit.com. The next tool was a website, and our first website was mentalhealthvideos.a2z.com. mentalhealthvideos.a2z.com, which has got all the information I have about this whole field of mental health and addiction. But it's a bit of a mouthful, so we have just recently started a new site called smilefixit.com. The third tool is an app. I was so busy that I made a 20-question checklist and got my nurse to see the patients first and do the checklist to save me time, and then I could look at the checklist result and in 3 minutes learn what it took me 23 or 33 minutes to learn if I dealt with the patient, which I just didn't have the time. But with the advance of technology, an app was much better than a paper checklist. So we developed the Mental Fixit app, just on your phone, find the App Store icon or the Google Play icon and tap them, and in 10 seconds you can download the free Mental Fixit app. And the Mental Fixit app has questions about every important aspect of your life and your health, your mental health and addictions. And each question you've got a choice of 3 answers. No, it's not a problem. Yes, it's a moderate problem. Yes, it's a severe problem. And you just have to tap one of those 3 answers. So you can go through all the questions in 10 minutes. And as you tap your choice of answers for the last question, a report instantly comes up on the screen. And the report tells you which 6 videos will help your particular problems most. Because everybody's problems are different and they need to watch different videos. If there's 100 videos, which ones do you watch? Well, just do the app and it'll tell you which 6 videos are going to help you most. It also tells you which medicines are probably going to help you most. It also gives you a list of all your problems from the worst to the least, so you know everything that needs fixing. And you don't really get that with talk therapy, because talk therapy is so slow that you really don't get past the 1 or 2 biggest problems. And you have other lesser problems that aren't as big, but they're still causing you quite a lot of trouble. But with the app, you know everything. and you repeat the app every day or two until you've got it all under control. And each time you do, the app gives you a total score for all of the questions that you've tapped, moderate or severe, which have all got scores, and it gives you the total score each time. And as you progress, your scores should be getting better. The things that were severe, some of them becoming moderate, some of the things that are moderate become mild or get completely better. So it puts those total scores in a graph, and the graph should be going down as you're getting better and your scores are going down. So as in a glance you can see immediately whether your treatment is working. If your treatment is working, the score is going down, the graph is going down. If the graph's not going down, then the treatment's not working and you have to review it. And that's a great help to know quickly whether your treatment is working. So that was 3 tools: videos, websites, app. The 4th tool is live streaming, which is what we're doing now, because that's another way for people to quickly and easily learn a lot. So I now do an hour or an hour and a quarter's live streaming 4 evenings a week. We've changed it. We're changing it to Wednesday evening and Friday, Saturday and Sunday evening. So 7 p.m. Perth time on Wednesday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday evening I do this live streaming. So that's the 4th tool. The 5th tool is powder medicine. With mental health issues and addictions, you want the medicine to work fast. And tablets and capsules which you swallow have to go right down the long gut and indirectly into the blood flow, and they take half an hour to an hour to start to work and 1 to 2 hours to reach full effect. Whereas powder medicine you drop on your tongue and suck, don't swallow, starts to work in 5 minutes and has peak benefits in 10 to 15 minutes. Your tongue is pink or red because the blood vessels are so close to the surface, and when you drop that fine powdery grains of powder medicine on your tongue, it gets into the blood vessels very quickly. So the 6th tool was pocket dispensers. I had these pocket dispensers made, and the powders in there, you have it in your pocket, you start to crave a smoke or crave a drink or crave some heroin, you whiz it out, drop the powder on your tongue, and the right powder for the particular addiction will start to suppress it within 5 minutes, so that craving never gets strong. If you get it as soon as it starts and the medicine works in 5 minutes, it doesn't get strong, and you can delay or prevent taking the drug. And whether you delay it if you delay it, that weakens the addiction. And if you can miss it sometimes, that weakens it much more. And so before long, you can miss it quite often. And that allows your chemistry to come back to normal. When there's not so much drug there, your chemistry can be more normal. And the weakened craving and the more normal chemistry enables you to quit the addiction, or to quit the anxiety, or quit the anger, or quit the ADD, whatever it is, fairly soon. So the fifth tool was powder medicine, and the sixth tool was the pocket dispenser. The seventh tool was a heartbeat meditation aid. Meditation is very important for anxiety and insomnia and stress. What you do in meditation is you focus on something that allows you to forget all your problems for a little while, usually 3 to 30 minutes. You stop thinking about all the things that are worrying you, and you get calm and relax and feel stronger and better. But the experts who usually teach people to do meditation have been meditating for 20 or 30 years, and they just focus on their breathing, and they tell you to focus on your breathing, but your breathing is not a very strong attention grabber. So the people who are most agitated and most benefit from meditation often can't start. And I tried to learn to meditate 30 years ago and failed, but a few years ago I just had an inspiration, got a cheap stethoscope, cut it short, and put the thing in. That's the hearing part. You put that down behind your clothes over your heart, and your heart beats quite loudly, strongly. It's very interesting and pretty easy to focus on and forget everything else. And if you do that for a couple of months, you can then focus on your breathing, which is the best way in the end, but too hard for people that most need it to begin with. And also I think I failed because I misunderstood what they meant when they said focus on your breathing. I thought they meant focus as an observer on your breathing. Notice how your breathing happens. And that's not a very strong focus, but really what they meant was focus on the action, focus on your action of breathing rhythmically, steadily, and that's what you need to reach. And I can do that now quite easily. I noticed that just before I go to sleep, my breathing gets very steady, and then I realize that's what I need to do. So anywhere now I can just breathe steadily and focus on that and have a rest from all my worries. I think there's still a couple more tools to come, but those 7 tools as a package can enable a lot of people to help themselves not completely, but partially, 25% or 50% or 2/3. And some people, their problems are so bad that they can't help themselves very much. But if there's a lot of people helping themselves, that shortens the waiting list. And the other very important thing that self-help does is you can start early. And early is much easier. If you get a problem early, you usually know what caused it. It's usually simple, straightforward, and much easier to fix. The longer it goes, the more problems cause. ADD messes up your education. That messes up your employment. That causes unemployment. That causes lack of money. That causes going hungry or homeless sometimes. If as soon as you have a problem, you can just get on your phone and do the app and watch the most helpful videos for that particular problem, you can deal with it much more efficiently and very soon be making it much better. And the other thing is that mental health problems are nearly always family problems. Most mental health problems go from generation to generation to generation. May not be quite the same. Your grandparents may have had anxiety, and your parents may have had depression, and you may have ADD, but mental health problems are family problems, and with conventional talk therapy and medicines, usually only they treat you as an individual and you get treated and no one else in the family gets treated. But if you have a problem and you start to look at videos, other members of the family will look at videos too. You start to do the app and you say, hey mum, hey dad, hey brother, this is really helpful, and then they start to use the app, and the whole family situation gets better, and that's very important. Well, I very much hope that you will send me comments, questions, criticisms. If you think I could do something better, and I'm sure that things I should do some things better, just let me know. If something's particularly helpful but I should do more of it, let me know. If I haven't covered something that you need, just let me know. We want to start a club so that our viewers can belong to a club and help one another, and also help guide me in what we do. So yeah, but I think that's enough for tonight, and I'll be back. Today is Sunday, so I'll be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Perth time, which is 9 p.m. in Melbourne and Sydney, and 7 a.m. in New York.